And then he's in the hedgerows. You give him 2 clicks. Well, my name is Warren GOSS, and where I'm from is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, outskirts of Pittsburgh. I was drafted into the Army by the government. They say, your friends and neighbors, greetings.
And how did you train? What was your preparation for D-Day?
The best preparations I had when I was shipped to England, I went clean down to the southern part of England as far as you could get. And there's where I took my training for 1 year, for one job, and that was to invade Normandy. And that's when I joined the 531st Brigade. That was a volunteer brigade.
Did you know what was going to happen on D-Day? Did you, the day before or a couple days before, did you know that D-Day was going to happen?
No. I knew it was going to happen, but they didn't know the date. When I was in a 531st Brigade that I volunteered for. They asked for volunteers, and I was dumb enough to do it I was 18. And they told us, you don't have to do this, but we're looking for volunteers. So I volunteered, and they told us, if you volunteer, some of you ain't coming back. We're going to invade France. They told us that, but they just didn't give us a date.
And on D-Day, do you remember when you finally arrived on shore? Do you remember what happened when you finally arrived on shore on Utah Beach?
Sure, I remember what happened. It's like a tattoo. You don't like it, but you got to keep it. You can't get rid of it. I went out in the Higgins boats, and they all lined up. And when they got in line, they went into the beach. And what they can't train you for is the things that really happen. Now, I never expected I would see a Higgins boat get blown clean out of the water and all the men were gone. I never seen the guys that they were sick. They were seasick from the ship. They were vomiting in the Higgins boats. They were not fit for battle then. But when they got in there, then they dropped the ramp, and I seen the front boys were disappearing, getting shot down. Then I went over the side of the boat, made my way in. Got up to the beach. There I landed for shelter under one of those metal things that they had tied there. And I seen my buddy was running up toward the beach, and he got hit with a .50 caliber gun. They tore his leg off. And that 531st Brigade was trained so hard in England. And that little boy, he got up to run 3 times with one leg, and he couldn't do it, and finally he quit. And I couldn't help him. I had to keep moving. Because they told you, if your buddy goes down, jump over him and keep going. Get in there as far as you can get.
Dad, what was your mission when you landed on Utah Beach?
My mission was to get in there. We had to live in England. They knew exactly what was on that beach. We had frogmen that would go in there and bring back messages. And they gave me, and I knew what bunkers we had to clear first. The first bunker we cleared was there were monuments on it today. And the second bunker was a radio communication bunker. We cleared that. I got those boys out of there, and then that bunker was a radio bunker. The Germans used to radio all the guns that was around the shore, how to shoot the ships. Well, we got them out of there, and Americans moved in, and now they started radioing the ships how to shoot the Germans. So that was like a trade-off. You know, that's what we did there. And from there, after I got that done, I continued on to the battle until I hit the swamp.
What was your experience in Cherbourg after Normandy?
When I got to Cherbourg, the 4th Division was involved in that. And I got in there, our outfit got in there but I can remember laying on one of the hilltops over there, and the airplanes were coming over to bomb Cherbourg, and they'd make one pass, drop their bombs, and then they'd come with the second pass and fly back and drop some more bombs and went back to England. And when I went into the 4th Division had a lot to do with that. We was attached to the 4th, and our brigade went into it. It wasn't as bad as the invasion. But it was bad enough. And it's what I remember most is the children. Things started settling down. Didn't take long, maybe a day or two, and they started coming to the Americans and begging. They were hungry, they were starved. I felt so sorry for them. And most of us started helping the children. At the beginning, they would shy away from you because the Germans told the family that we were going to kill them all. And then we found out we were friendly. It was a different story, and they were in greatness and helping us. And the French people helped me a lot. The little boys in bicycles helped me. Little girls helped me. I did a lot. They did a lot for me.
He wants you to show how to use the cricket, and if you have any experience or a story to tell about the cricket.
This is not the real cricket. Similar to ours, but not the one we had. I'd use this cricket in the hedgerows. And then you use it in the hedgerows, you give him 2 clicks, and he answers 1 click. If you don't hear the 1 click, then you threw the hand grenade. You had a ring on this thing, a ring tied to your finger here. And you carried it like that, so you can pull the gun and make it work, see?
After the war, did you go straight home, and what did you do?
Well, the war ended for me in Frankfurt, Germany. There's where I was discharged. I wasn't discharged there. I was discharged at home. But that's where and after Frankfurt, Germany, and the war ended there. Then I went back to the hospital. I'm not sure. I think it was Langdon. It was close to Frankfurt. And I was in the hospital there, and then when I got out of there, they told me that's where I made my last shot. The war was over, I was in the hospital, and they sent me out, I was in good shape, they sent me out to be a guard at the gate, and I'm sitting there, me and 2 guys, and way over in the field over there was a power line, a great big power line. Now, I could see the lights all lit down in Frankfurt, and I took all the shells out of my gun, and I put in 1 shell, an AP shell I put in there. I said to the guys, watch what happens. And I took a shot at that transformer, and boy, the sparks flew, and the fire flew, and the lights in the town, it looked like it was going blink, 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 all going out. That's good. Those Germans are used to living in the dark anyway. And then in the background, there was a guy behind me that I didn't even know. He was a German soldier. He was all bandaged up, and he was all the Americans and Germans were in there together. And he was all bandaged up, and he says, I didn't know he was there. And once he says, das ist gut Schusten. That was my last shot. I came home in what they call a Liberty ship. Now, that Liberty ship is nothing but a flat-bottom boat, same as they did with the LSTs and LCIs. Them all flat-bottom boats were invaded. So they went home, and that thing was really a rough ride. It took me 7 days to get home. And we had three guys to one bunk. It'd take your turn sleeping. You get 8 hours, you get 8 hours, that's it. When it's your turn to sleep, you can't feel sleepy. So I seen all these lifesavers was piled up in the middle of this boat, so I took a couple blankets, I climbed up there, and there's where I rode the boat home. I could see the moon going back and forth, and the ship was rocking, and I laid up there and slept all the way back.
Okay.
And when I got back home and to get a job, I couldn't find a job because they had to fill out an application. And I didn't know how to do that. I couldn't fill out an application. So I decided I'd go into business myself. I went into the business. I started my own work. I ended up being a builder of builder homes. And I started building houses. I drove nails. And my wife and I built the first house. Then from there, I just kept going and building houses to make a living, and I became a land developer.
Why do you like to come back to Normandie 81 years later?
Why did I like to come back?
Yeah, why did you come back to Normandie 81 years later?
I wonder why I do it too. You know, every time if I come over, I do something like this. It upsets me. It brings back memories that it took me 20 years to get rid of.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then they wake me up to new memories. You know, all the kids and all the questions of every time I come here, nobody ever asks you, where do you sleep? Mm-hmm. They don't ask that question. They ask different kind of questions, silly questions, but they never ask, where did you sleep? Uh-huh. My first night in Normandie wasn't no beautiful hotel. Uh-huh. It was a ditch in Saint Marie-de-Mont. I made it up there to Saint Marie-de-Mont. I lived in a ditch all night long. I got more to eat. Normandie makes me fat. Thank you very much. And I seen my buddy was running up toward the beach, and he got hit with a .50 caliber gun. They tore his leg off. My first night in Normandie wasn't no beautiful hotel. Then he's in the hedgerows, you give him 2 clicks, and he answers 1 click. If you don't hear 1 click, then you threw the hand grenade.